Let's go into mobile and check things out. That's what we're here for. I wanted to spend most of my time in Aptora mobile. I've got it running right here. Okay, so I could make this full screen, or it could be, tablet sized. As you can run the app, or you can use the browser version. So we have a browser version of mobile. We have an app version. They look almost identical. They are like 99.9% the same. First thing I want to do is I want to log in as the administrator. Log in as administrator. Now, if you're not aware of it, you can have multiple companies in mobile. So you can have a training company. If you own other companies, you can have multiple companies in mobile. You can switch back and forth between them if you would like to. So let's log in as the admin, and let me show you some settings here. All right, log me in, fell asleep. Hey, look at that. So there's a pop-up that says there's a new version of Aptora Mobile 2. Do you want to see the release notes? And I'm going to say no for now. I want to go to more, and I want to go to settings. And by the way, this is being recorded. So after about 2 or 3 hours, an email goes out automatically saying the recording's done. Here it is. But I want to go into flat rate settings, flat rate pricing settings right here. Okay, so we've remodeled this form here. We've added a few features, some additional capability, again, based on what people have asked for. So be sure to check out these settings so that you can see some of the new choices. The layout's a little different. What I'm particularly looking for is something called cart types. That's new, cart types. What this allows you to do is create good, better, best, totally great options for service, replacement, installations, whatever you like. Because what it does, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute, what it does is it allows you to go to the My Flat Rate book that you're probably familiar with. You might remember the shopping cart concept where you built out a cart and it showed you the total price. Now you have the ability to have multiple shopping carts, and you can think of those as multiple sales proposals. So you can have good, better, best sales proposals. Or as a service tech, you might want to have a good or better repair. Maybe that's what you do there. Or you might have 2 different options. Here's what we need to do to get your equipment running, the bare minimum to get your heat going. Or you could have another shopping cart that contains that and all the things that we recommend. You can even keep them separate and combine them both into an invoice if that's what you wanted to do. But it all starts here, creating your carts. And the neat thing about this is not only do you have the ability to create a cart name, but you can also tie financing to it. And you can have as many as you'd like. So you can create something called value, like I've done, prestige. I've got my supreme, I've got the optimum, I've got the ultimate. So at EGIA, if you're not familiar with EGIA Contractor University, we are a not-for-profit company that does seminars all over the country. I'm one of the founding faculty members. EGIA.org if you're interested. But that is like to me, that's like the ultimate contractor membership group. Anyway, we have a standard that is this. We recommend 5 levels of pricing. These are actually the names that we use when we teach this in our seminars, and I've built that in there so you can see it. Now, each one of these can have their own financing if you would like. So for example, you could have, say, 10% down, 4.99% interest for 36 months, if that's what you wanted to do. Or you could have 7% down, 5% down. You could have $1 down. Notice the calculation type is either percent or dollar. So let's create one real quick. And I will give it a name of test and a description of test. And the calculation can either be percent or it could be $1. So you might say, hey, $5 down. It could be a special promotion, or it could be 2% down, something like that. But let's do $1 down or $2 down. And we could have interest rate of 0% or 1%. And how long would that be good for? It could be good for 24 months. And hit save. That's that. So that's how you would set up the name of the pricing option. So these are price options, good, better, best, or you could call it required or highly recommended if you're doing it for service. You can tie a financing package to it. You can control the down payment. Is it dollar amount, percentage amount, etc. So I'm going to get rid of that because I don't like that. I like mine here, and that's how it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and log off, and we're going to log back in as a user and look into that. All right, so here I am. I'm in here as Ashley Adams, and boy, she's got a lot of alerts. So a lot of alerts, software update. I'm looking for my flat rate book. Click here. Okay, so this looks a little different after you update here, but it's pretty much the same. What you'll notice at this point is, the most obvious thing is a little selector up here. That is what we were just in. That's what we were setting up. We were setting up the Optimum, the Prestige, the Supreme. So if you would like to create an ultimate scenario, then you would pick Ultimate, and then you would start adding things. So you might have, I don't know, FNA-A something or other. And let's find a task. Oh, I know of one that I like. It's a 1. Add a 1 to that. All right, so we'll find something to add. 101. There it is. That's the guy I was looking for. And then let's just put that in there because it may be that one. So I put those 2 in there. So now I have 2 tasks under Ultimate. Let's go take a look at Ultimate. So with Ultimate selected, I will click View Cart. And here is the repair. Now you'll notice I added 2, so it has more than one option. Looks like something else is in there. Ooh, there it is. So I've got other options in there. And that's how we add things. So the ultimate investment, $8,806.53 or $1 down with a monthly investment of just $185.28 for 48 months. All of that came from that setup. That's how it knows how much down. That's how it knew the interest rate, etc. To remove something is easy. Just go down at the bottom, and this has all been refined. So this looks a little different. Go down to the bottom and hit the remove button. And we can scroll through here again, see what else we have. Condensing unit looks pretty good. All right. So if you want to get rid of something, again, come down here to the motor, and I'll get rid of that motor, and it's gone. Now, we can go to the new menu. This menu system is new. Go to the new menu, and we can view other carts, like we'll view the Optimum cart. So here it is. So this is what's under the Optimum cart. And remember, this could have been called anything you want. This word right here is totally up to you, and so is the financing right there. And what else is in here? Right there. Now, the price down here is the price of that individual item. The price up here is your total investment. And then back to the menu, and we can switch to another cart, such as the Prestige. And the Prestige looks like it has an old Honeywell C87. We don't want that. Let's get rid of it. Cart's empty. Let's go back to my flat rate books. So it works easily, just like your old system. If you remember, if you used it, you came in here and it looked almost identical to this. What we have added is we've added the ability for you to select from a series of price options, like good, better, best. And then the view cart button, or pardon me, the add button adds that particular task or item or service, whatever it happens to be. It adds it to whatever cart is selected here. If at any time you want to view the cart, just simply click the button to view it, and you're in that cart. How do you know what cart you're in? Just pay particular attention to that word right there. If you want to go to a different cart, it's easy to do. just pick that cart like the ultimate and you're in it. So let's take a look at the ultimate cart here and make sure we cover some of the finer points. The pictures, where do these photos came from? These photos were added to this particular item or group item. This can be an item, a group item, it can be a service item, but in this case, it's a group. It's a group item. And that is the group number right there. So if you go into Total Office Manager and you search for Comfort Option 1, you'll notice it's a group item and it has these things in it. And then I just simply went to Menu, Images, and I started adding these images. And that way you have something to talk to your client about. You can say it includes a thermostat. Now this is a Wi-Fi enabled thermostat. I'll program it for you. Don't worry about that. We're going to install it, program it, make sure it's connected. It does come in it does have various colors built in. This is the same thermostat, by the way, but you can set up different colors, different looks. It's really neat. And it has an app and you get the idea. So you're going through the pictures, showing them the various things. You might include, for example, in here that you never use saddle valves. And you could show a angle stop or a shutoff valve properly welded, properly configured, so you don't have that shuttle valve. So you could have like a picture. In fact, I'm going to add that eventually here. I'm going to show a picture of a rusted, junky looking saddle valve and maybe, like an X through it, and then add another picture of a nice shutoff valve properly plumbed to that humidification system. So the pictures obviously are really nice. Now, where did these words come from? I'll go into the group item, in fact, and show it to you. Up here is the description of the group item, and here are the details. So I clicked Menu, Details, and put that information in there. Now, also, you have the ability, let's just go to the next one. You have the ability to add document links to these. So, I like that one. So down here, these are document links. Now, what are document links? If you haven't used document links in our software, you're really missing out. It's a great feature. I'll show you in Total Office Manager where I got those. You can also do this in mobile too, connect documents to things. But let's just click on one of these. So right here, I have document links. These are links to documents. These can be documents that are on your company's server, but they could also be documents or web pages out on the internet somewhere. And in fact, in my case, these are all web pages. So let's click on one. Now, it opens up the document links properties. And if you had permission, you could edit these. But in this case, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to click the link. So here I have the technical specifications of this particular furnace. If you think it would be a good idea to include that link, then it's easy. You just simply add that link to the item, and that's that. So it makes it easy for you to click on those. Let's go back to that cart, the ultimate, there it is. So it makes it easy to put document links down here, like consumer brochures, rebate center, etc. That's where those came from. Let's go over here and look at this furnace. So again, same concept. We have pictures that you can choose from. You might want to use these photos to explain installation techniques, what makes a good install, talk about airflow, things like that. Airflow is key, isn't it? Now, you might also decide that this needs to be added to an estimate or an invoice or a proposal. Click the menu and you've got an option here, add it to an invoice, add it to a work order. Now, if we click add to invoice, we just simply go find the invoice or estimate. It said invoice, but it could be an estimate too. We just simply have to go find the estimate or the invoice that it belongs to, or we're going to add it to. We can also click add new right here. So you can add it to an existing work order, an existing estimate or invoice, or create a new work order, invoice, estimate. That's how it works. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you are in a work order, you still have the ability to select items, print preview, get approval, and all of that. That process has not changed at all. What this is a different way of presenting things. So picture yourself using paper and pencil, no software. You could obviously go out to somebody's home with an invoice and fill it out. And you could show them the invoice and say, I have a good and a better option for you. You could do that. And it could be for a repair, it could be for a replacement. You could also fill out an invoice, or pardon me, you could fill out an estimate. You could fill out two estimates and write good at the top and better at the top and show them an estimate. And you can do that in mobile. But you could also have cookbook pricing. You could have a menu with you, like a restaurant menu, and you open it up and you show them that menu and you say, look, and you could be showing them repair scenarios, but most likely you're showing them replacement, installation scenarios. That's the My Flat Rate book. So when it comes to using My Flat Rate, down here, My Flat Rate book, what we had in mind was the book presentation for repairs or replacements. Now, many of you have used that book presentation. What happens when they say, I'll take it? Well, then you say, great, and you write up an invoice or you write an estimate for them to sign. That's what we're doing here. So let's go to View Cart. We make our presentation. Let's go back to that Ultimate. So we make our presentation. We tell them that they have this, and they would get this, and they would get the other thing. Notice the buttons are down at the bottom now to remove it, open it, go both directions. We wanted to open up as much sales presentation real estate as we could. So at some point, they might say yes to you, and you have chosen the ultimate investment for $79.78. Now I click this button and I add it to an invoice. So we actually are following the paper method of doing things very closely. It just may not always seem like that, but that's the concept is you've made your presentation, now you're ready to do the paperwork, add it to the invoice. One thing I want to point out down here is it says include investment info. If you want to create a new estimate, new invoice, new work order, when you check that box, it will copy over this line to the details area. Okay, so it'll copy that over. That's all it does. You can get rid of it. You can modify it. It will not do that if you are adding it to an existing record, because we did not want to risk overwriting something that was already there or putting information in that you may not want. But with that box checked, it will add that information to the record that you are creating. So that is what's in the menu, and that's the new presentation method. Let's talk about how to build this out in Total Office Manager. So let's go to Window, Close All. Did you know that was there? Close All. Close everything. Let's open Lists, Invoice Items right here. Now, to make it easier, I kind of cheated. I added a plus sign to the end of the item numbers that were in that cart, at least to two of them anyway. So I'm going to put in the plus sign right there, and it'll go find it. And let's open those up. So you notice the plus sign at the end here. There they are. Let's get those in front of me. These are the group items that you just saw. This is what made up the pricing. So here is the description, and let's just go back to mobile and check it out. That description is this right here. That's the initial description. And the rest of this is coming from details. And this is the group item number right there. Group item number. It says group, so you know the type. And we made that small because the client really doesn't need to know what that is, but your user might want to know what that is. So that is this information here. Then menu, let's go to notes. I keep saying details, don't I? Details is under the invoice and the purchase order. Under items, we call it notes. I'm sure you would have figured that out. So go to menu, go to notes, and that's where that is coming from, right here. So I went in and I added that information from their website, in fact, to here. And that's what you're seeing. So you have really unlimited space, but you probably want to pay pay attention to how much information you put in there, because it'll drive it all down to the bottom, and you may not want to do that. So that's where it came from. Same on this one. Go to menu, go to notes. There it is. Now, what about the images? Where did all those images come from? Well, first of all, I have a collection of images on my hard drive, on my computer. So that's first thing. You need to get them in your possession first. Then simply go to menu, image, and open this form. And here you can just start adding images like that. So that's all I did, is I just put these images in here. And how did I do that? Well, I highlighted the slot that I wanted to put them in. That way you can replace an existing image. I highlighted the slot, and then I went to select. And I selected it and hit OK. And I came back, and there was the image. That's it. This information down here is just image info, just FYI. One thing you want to pay attention to is the primary selector. You'll notice it says primary true right up there. That's because that little box is checked. What that means is that's the image that will show up when you first land on that item in the cart and elsewhere. So that's the default image that always shows up unless you go pick another image. All right, back to those group items. Now, please keep in mind, they don't have to be group items. You could come in here and create a service item, add pictures to it, details, things like that. You can create an inventory item. When you are working your shopping cart, the shopping cart doesn't have to have these group item types. It can have labor, it can have parts, whatever you want it to do, whatever you want it to have. All right, back to these group items. Click menu. So we covered the images, we covered the notes. You're aware of the history. These are the document links that you saw in there. So let's take a look at new document link here. There's a scan button right here. If you don't see a scan button on your side, then it is a preference that needs to be turned on. Here you could load your scanner if you wanted to and scan documents into this form, and it will create a link to those documents. You also can click this little button right here and navigate out to your hard drive or to your network and find something to link to. So it's really easy to link things here. You can also categorize these links, these documents. It makes it easier to find them, search for them, report on them. So if it's technical info, that's what you might pick. Finally, you can give it a description down here if you'd like to, and you can give it an alias. The file name right here will be uneditable. And in fact, I'll just go to one. Let's go back to document links, the list, and let's open one, right click, edit. So you'll notice the file name is not editable for obvious reasons. It tells you the record that it is associated with. It's an item, ASF, there's the number. There's the category, there's the description I gave it. And under alias, that is a name that we can give it that makes more sense. The file name may not necessarily make sense to anybody. In this case, it sure doesn't. But the alias is our opportunity to give it a name that's more sensical. And that's about it. Click menu, save, change the link, open the document. That's about it. You'd hit save and close, and you've got your document links. So all of your items have document links. If you weren't aware of it, your assets, your customers, your employees, your vendors, your bills, your item receipts, your purchase orders, they all have this feature. Purchase orders, document links, hit the scan button. Item receipt, hit the scan button. What would you scan? The packing slip, whatever packing slip came with the item receipt. Bills, scan the bills. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. If you want to see a master list of those documents that you're linking to, and we really should have called this, by the way, File Manager. We called it Document Manager. We should have called it File Manager because it can be anything. It can be videos, pictures, PDFs, Word documents, Excel spreadsheets. But anyway, it's right here. Here's your master list. I don't have that many in mind, but let's open it up. So this would show you every one of your document links, your file links, And from here, you can open them, edit them, export all this to Excel, et cetera, et cetera. That master list gives you the ability to go find what you're looking for when you're not really sure how it got there or what it's associated with. So I hope you are using the document links feature. I think it's really helpful, not the least of which it's helpful for your employees when you scan in their application